Recording started.
Hi, today we're going to talk about the FSA TI30xa calculator. Let's go ahead and get started. Here you can see here in the screen the TI30xa calculator. We're going to go ahead and look at a few of the buttons that are on this page. So let's talk about an overview of the calculator. First of all, we have the on key. The on key. So I want to just go ahead and highlight that for you, the on key. The purpose of the on key is to clear the display, but it does not clear the memory. And it also retrieves anything that you left in there. So after about 5 minutes of not being used, it would automatically shut off. But no worries, because if you just press on, then it will bring back up the very last thing that was in the system, the last thing that you entered. So let's go ahead and just play with that key real quick so that we're going to use this key right here, the key right here. So let's go ahead and press that. And we have on. How do we turn this off? Well, let's talk about the off key for a second. Here we have the off button, and the off key clears the display. It clears the settings and any pending operations. But it does not clear your memory. So if there's something that you've left in memory, you'll know if there's something in memory because it'll have a little M at the top of the screen. There's 3 memory locations. You have memory 1, memory 2, and there's also a memory 3. Right now we're showing memory 1. If you press the off key, it will clear everything. It will clear your display. It will clear the settings, whatever settings you have it set on, and it will also clear out any pending operations. So if you enter something, if you press off, it will clear it. However, if you enter a value and it cuts off on its own after 5 minutes, all you have to do is press on again and the information will still be there. If you if you press off, then it will be permanently deleted. Okay, so let's just go ahead and press off, and we can press on again and off and on again. So very good. We understand how to press off and on, understanding what the functions of those are. Okay, on is also for clearing your screen, for getting rid of anything that you have entered. All right. Now, APD is what I just finished explaining to you. It's the automatic power down, and it will turn off, like I said, after 5 minutes, but it does not clear your display. So if I have something in here and it's been 5 minutes and it cuts off, it's okay. It is going to still be there when you turn it back on. All right. Now, this here is called the result window. We will refer to this as maybe the result window. We may also call it the display. It can hold up to 10 digits, plus or minus. So real quick, if I show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I can put a negative sign. This here is our positive negative key. We'll review that more in a little bit. I can insert that, and there you have your digits. I can also add a 0 for my 10th digit. So it holds 10 digits plus a negative sign. All right. Now here, the loud green is the second key. That second key allows us to access additional functions. So let's look at a few of those functions that it gives us access to. If we're looking here at the second key, if all second keys are in green. So if I want to, for example, if I want to put 10 to the third power, we all know 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my functions, clear out my display, and clear out my memory, or not my memory, but everything but my memory. And I want to do 10 to the third power. So I'm going to press 3, hit second, and hit the log key because I really want to access what's above that, which is 10 to the third, or 10 to the x. And there you have it. I have 1,000. It actually did the multiplication for me. So 10 to any power, if we want to multiply that, then all we have to do or evaluate that power. All we have to do is press second and then that key. So it accesses the anything in green. So anytime we want to access anything in green, we have to press the second key first. Something else that we can do here above the number 1 key, if you look closely, let me see if I can give me just one moment. I'm going to zoom in on that real quick. If you see right here above the 1 key, it says x to the 3rd power. So again, that's another way to cube something, another way to evaluate any value raised to the 3rd power. So if I want to do 10 to the 3rd power, I would enter 10. And then because I want to access the key that is above, the function that is above the number 1, then I will press second and I will press 1. And there you have it, 1,000. So that's very easy to do, but just wanted you to get a feel for what that second key represents. All right. So now moving on. Last thing is delete. So I want to show you what that delete function looks like. So let's say, for example, that I was entering some numbers. I'm entering 1 through 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, I made a mistake. So I didn't mean to enter 8. I meant to enter 9. Well, the cool thing about this calculator is that it has a delete button, which means that you don't have to clear it out and start all over. You can simply press the delete button. It will backspace 1, same as delete does on a calculator, on a keyboard. And then now I can put the correct value there. Okay, so delete is this arrow backwards. Let's go ahead and use that. Play with that a little bit. And that is how we get rid of digits. Can I delete more than 1 digit? Absolutely. I can go all the way back to the beginning and start all over again, entering all of my values. Alrighty. So that's a cool function. Let's go ahead and go to our next slide. So now the first thing you want to do before you begin using the calculator at all is you want to make sure that you clear everything out. So we talked about what the function of the on key was. On clears whatever it is that you have on your screen. If there was an operation you had pending, it will also clear that. The off button will do the same thing, clearing everything kind of out for you, including all of your functions except for memory. How do we then get rid of memory? If someone used the calculator before you and left something in memory and you accidentally press this button, which is called recall, it will bring back whatever you put in your memory. So if I put recall 1, it brings up 15 because this is the memory 1. So I saved something under memory 1. Let me just give you an example of that. I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. Let's say, for example, I entered 25 and I wanted to store that number because I can't remember that number and I want to use it for my next operation. So if I wanted to save that number, I could press store and then 2. And did you see what happened? Memory 2 came up. So that means under M2 is the number 25. So now I'm going to go ahead and clear everything out except for my memory, of course, because remember, on does not clear our memory and neither does off. Off does not clear our memory either. And I want to prove that to you. So I'm going to cut the calculator off and then I'm going to bring the calculator back on. And when I do that, you notice that the M1 and M2 is still there in my screen. So that means they have not been cleared out. So how do we get rid of those? Well, first of all, I want to show you how to bring it back. So the number we stored was 25. So let's say I did some more calculations and I found a value of 5. So I want to do 5 plus my original number that I stored, which was in memory 2, which was 25. So I'm going to press recall, RCL, recall whatever you stored, whatever you saved in memory. And I'm going to press 2. Notice the 25 pops up. So recall 2 brought back my original. I already added 5 to it. So now I just press equals and it gives me 30. So the purpose of the memory button, or in this case, it's called store. How do I store a value? How do I save a value for later? That is our memory, and we will see that when we're here. So if I want to save something in memory 1, I'll press whatever number I get, I'll press store, and then I'm going to press 3. So now I have 30 saved under memory 3. If I want to recall a value, I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. All I have to press is recall, and then I can press 3, and it brings back the value 30. If I clear that out, let's say I meant to recall the second value. Then I can put recall, and I can press 2, and it brings back my second value. Now I want to add that to the third value that I saved. So I'm going to press plus, and I'm going to put recall 3, which was 30, and now I'm going to press equal to put those two together. And now I'm going to add them to the very last one, the first one that I saved, which was in memory 1. So I'm going to press recall, and I'm going to press 1, and then I'm going to press equals. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't add it back. Plus recall 2 equals plus recall 3 equals, and there's my values all added together. All right, so we're going to go ahead and clear that out. Now, my purpose of this was to show you how to clear the memory. Now that we know how to use memory to save, store, and recall, we also need to understand how to clear the memory, because I don't want those sitting there, because I don't want to accidentally add those numbers into my calculation. So how do I clear my memories? Well, it's pretty simple. All we have to do to clear memory is one extra step. I'm going to press 0. Then I'm going to press store, and then I'm going to press 1. Notice my first memory disappeared. I want my memory 1 to be a value of 0. So I'm going to enter 0. I'm going to store that in memory 1. I have to do the same thing for the rest. So I'm going to enter 0. Then I'm going to press store. And then I'm going to press 2. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to press 0. I'm going to press store, and then I'm pressing 3. Now all 3 of my memories have been cleared, and now I can move on. So we just figured out how to clear memory. Again, clearing memory is 0, store key, and 1 or 2 or 3, depending on which memory I want to clear. Something else that I want to talk to you about is making sure that your calculator is always on DEG. That means degrees. Everything we deal with, mostly as far as the math we're concerned with today, is degrees. You have other options, but we want to leave it always in degrees. There's other ways in which our values can be calculated, if it's under radians or something different, but we want it to always be in degrees for what we're doing for FSA. So let's make sure that we press this button here, and it changes what function we're in or how we're looking at our numbers. So we want our numbers to always be under DEG, which is degrees. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on. All right, so now let's talk about basic arithmetic. All right, so we're going to, for this part or this session, we're going to, or this part of the session, we are going to be entering operations, just playing with operations. When I say operations, I'm speaking of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And these are our 4 keys here: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I'm also going to talk about the equal sign, which is here. After you enter a operation, you want to press equal so that it can compute that. I also want to talk about the negative and positive. And we talked about earlier how you can change a number from negative to positive. I want to talk about pi, and then I want to talk about fixing a function. So let's go ahead and look at the next slide. Let's go ahead and enter a function or enter an operation. So let's enter the operation 3 plus 4 minus 1. If we do that in our head, 3 plus 4 is 7, minus 1 is 6. Let's see what happens. If we put 3 plus 4, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't calculate. Minus, now it calculates. 1, it's not going to do anything. We have to press equal. So let's press the equal sign, and we get 6. We could have also done 3 plus 4 equals, and then subtracted 1 equals.